ahead and get down to the game. Can we see this San Diego State remain undefeated? Let me reset the marl. I apologize. I have no idea why that was back down to game 2 because Syracuse has not taken a game yet. That's 5 minutes has hit the clock. It's a best of 7 brought to you by myself, AFiestyTaquito, and none other than the OG of CRL himself, Indo Slice, baby.
Right off the bat, gonna be looking for Patrick to exude the star power that I normally expect from them. Mason Star also a major portion of it. Let's be perfectly honest, all of Syracuse do an amazing job, but it's NPleb sticking their nose in early.
And of course, what a better way to do so than obviously off a breakaway play out of the corner and low defensive options in the back. It was kind of almost an open net opportunity for SDSU in the beginning right there. I would like to see a little bit more from Syracuse. Obviously, it's the early odds of a best of 7. A lot of people that I've talked to, one in specific, has described game number 1 in a long series like this as an appetizer to the main course. And I couldn't agree more. SDSU is a powerhouse offense. I have not gotten enough time to watch Orange, but I do know that they're going to have to fight fire with fire against this Aztec squad. So I would like to see something come out, but you're not going to be able to do that when you've got 2 people in the same corner and one hanging out in the mid for a wide open shot yet again. Aquino bringing up number 2 for the side of SDSU.
Very uncharacteristic for Syracuse to be this backward in some of their rotations. They'll definitely get this together. One of the things that I love about San Diego State, however, it seems like this team needs no warm-up, and they are systematic when it comes to rotations and punishment, as we see another one.
What are we talking about here? And no, I thought you had high hopes for Cuse. What's
I do have high hopes for Cuse, but it's a 7-game series, my friend. I'm not too worried just yet. This game is borderline a throwaway 90 seconds in. But they'll get their wheels under them eventually.
I hope so. This is rocket. You can only drive forward if your wheels are on the ground. You need to have your wheels underneath you. Unless you're going for a flip reset, then technically they're above you. So, good flick out of the corner and in play. Wonderful possession. Unfortunately, threw it away quickly. Here is an opportunity, and where is the third for Syracuse? You could have cheated up right there. You could have found yourself a cheap little cherry pick opportunity. Oh, this is good. Could be a pass. Great defense from Inflev. Dog to receive. Dog to put a hot shot. Looking for a pass. Won't be able to find it. But that is nice transitional offense to defense. Oh my gosh. We have light. Flashes of brilliance for Syracuse. See our first shot on the net.
Also seeing pretty heavy commitments as far as bumps, even looking for demos. Syracuse both in rotation and out of rotation, meaning they are chasing those physical plays just a little bit, and it's taken them out as far as resources and positioning have gone. Aquino's going to drop this one from the midfield forward. Not too much of a follow-up as Enplev's going to choose the control over ball pressure, and that's not a bad thing whatsoever. In fact, I love teams with the patience to do so.
Agreed, and I think patience is kind of what you need at this level. I think it can go a very far way. That was a great midfield pass. Unfortunately, didn't find purchase of the shot. But it's something that you have to exercise against a team that is just full frontal offense on your net, on transition, whatever. This SDSU squad is working in tandem. Oh my gosh. What an awkward save, but nonetheless a great one from Inflev, who came off, I believe, the back roll to stretch for that one.
But we are seeing more pressure come in from Syracuse, and Mason Star gonna break across, gets the first breach of the net versus the Orange.
What? Correct me if I'm wrong. We've got almost 4 minutes of gameplay going on, and we finally see the first sign of life here from Syracuse. I'm not Not sleeping on it, but I would genuinely like to understand if you guys made it through your first round, what happened? What happened to this? What happened when approaching this team? This SDSU squad coming out with a lot of heat. Maybe it's just first game jitters, like you said. It's a long series. I'm just trying to be overly hopeful about hype games, okay, Kendo?
You know what? I guarantee you, this one is going to go very distance-wise, or very far distance-wise when it comes down to how hype it's going to get. I am still seeing the demos, and you saw that goal was technically on the back of a demo. The respawn did not come in time, and for Dog and company, they just have yet another quick answer. There's a lot of throwing themselves at the challenge, our Syracuse. That may be a product of some of the bumps they're getting.
It's got to be. It's got to be the aggression. Zen Zero, you asked what the preset is the Dog is using. I'm going to take a wild guess. It looks like Toffs. Did that pinch go in? Excuse me? Did we just see a Cookser?
Yes, we did.
What year is it?
It's N pleb. That's the year. The year is N pleb, my friend.
Okay, look, man, look, maybe I don't know how to count in pleb years, but I got you. All right, yeah. Here I am feeling like it's 2017, and we're watching an Irish guy pinch a ball from the corner with a Batmobile or something. However, again, like you said, throw away this game right here for the side of Syracuse, in my opinion. Go ahead and just beef up your mental for game number 2. I do think that there is a lot to take away from this game 1, and that is you do not give San Diego State space or allow them to challenge you on defense. You have got to shut them down.
I always talk about the ingredients for success, however, and one of the ingredients for success is dictating pace. Syracuse, while they've only been able to do it in quick shouts, have been able to throw San Diego State off their game. And in my opinion, that is one of the most critical points of this matchup, because San Diego State, they're very sure of their rotation. They're very sure as a team of where they're going to be. They just beat you 5-1 on 6 shots. That's how sure they are.
That is a shout to the pure quality of shot taken from San Diego. They shot, I mean, what is the percentage right there? It's like 87, like 92.
It's
maybe.
Up there, yes.
Yeah, like it's a crazy number. But almost shooting 100% here in game number 1. Stats across the board for San Diego. Syracuse, we need to see a little bit more work. Again, it's game number 2. It's fine. We're going to be all good here. I do have faith in the Orange. I love your basketball team during March Madness. I want to love you in Rocket League, but please show me that basketball is not the only program.
Oh, why are you going to bring that up? I don't want shades of Carmelo in my life again. Get rid of that guy. No, thank you. Mayheim and the rest of them. No, no, please. And pleb. Right off the kickoff, the entire SDSU squad getting yet another brilliant push. They're doing it again as a team. And that is what it has always been about. Another one of those traditional stats that I'll go back to is team participation in goals for San Diego State throughout the years has been one of the highest in the history of Collegiate Rocket League. They are always looking for each other. They're always looking for the extra touch. And the extra touch, one of the intangibles I really love to talk about.
Do you think that, I mean, we're talking about Collegiate, obviously. This isn't the professionals, this isn't RLCS. But do you think a lot of these guys who could, shoot for that rank A, rank X area, they use that advantage of that extra little touch? They're always trying to find the use of that flip reset moving forward. Do you see a lot of the mechanics at this level, or is this something that you see kind of go by the wayside?
It goes by the wayside a lot of the time, but you do have programs either with coaches or with established thought process that has been passed down over time from team to team. San Diego State is one of those squads that has an established thought that has gone down time after time to each one of their players. It's essentially a mantra of the team. They're going to look for each other. They're going to win or lose as a team. And if there's solo players like this from AFiestyTaquito on top of it, that's just icing on the cake.
That was absolutely icing on the cake, and especially it would have been the whole piece of cake had AFiestyTaquito nailed the shot. A little bit off the post, so the woodwork kind of coming through there for Syracuse to keep this game at 0-0 for now. We're closing in on halftime. We're so very close to that tipping point. I know you can feel the tension on it.
Very much so, and the fact that it is 0-0 just shows you Syracuse understand the rest that they need to keep. Mason Starr going to be on the side wall, but it's quickly cleared from the backboard and beyond. The double commit to keep that one out, but SDSU are going to have a little bit of pressure bringing this one back. They give it up off the whip, though.
Nice
Gavilan. Ooh, go ahead.
No, sorry. Yeah, I'm so sorry. It's like nice play for Gavilan. I was just going to call the dunk out. That could have been something, but the possession, I feel more from Syracuse now. I feel like there's intention. These booming clears don't feel like they're just throwing it away. It feels like they're alleviating themselves for a possible attack. There is somebody moving up. There is rotation happening. We clearly see the adaptation through this game number 2.
I mean, they've also adjusted out of some of the physicality. They aren't going out of the way for the bumps. You're seeing them finish the demos that are in rotation, but when it comes down to chasing for them, they've done a great job of adjusting out of that tendency. I'd like to see more touches like the one we just saw. Find somebody at the end of them. If they're not passing to each other in the midfield, try to keep the ball up in the air a little bit longer and stymie the San Diego State defense.
Absolutely agreed. Break it down the best you can. Almost out of the breaks, stem the bleeding. That would have been amazing from Patrick if they would have gotten that bicycle shot. They were in the best position possible. Unfortunately, could not find that sharp angle they were looking for. Mason out to the mid. Patrick again. Can he find something off the waterfall? He does! And look at that! The color is orange. They are up by 1. Syracuse take their first lead of the series.
Immediately after calling out a pass to no one, it's Mason Starr with a pass that finds Patrick. Takes this one to the rock. Gonna try to sleep on it afterward. I don't know that they will be able to. They're gonna need to keep the pressure on because SDSU has been looming the entire series, offensive zone and beyond. There's a demo on the back end. That'll alleviate a little bit of the pressure. Mason Starr. Demo on the way back. They're starting to put the hammer down.
Oh, I'm hoping so. And they're making SDSU look a little awkward. Some of these passing plays not finding Perkins. Is this a breakaway goal from the goalie box? Are you kidding me? A full court shot from Gavillion, and there's no one home. You're knocking at the door. No one can answer. What is going on, San Diego?
I mean, in that spot, Enpleb found themselves a little bit too far forward, rotated back quickly, but then also was just repositioning themselves. They should have been a little bit further back. I understand you want to press in a moment where you are down by 1 and you know you need a goal. So I'm not going to fault it too bad, but it's even more credit to Syracuse. They noted that the net was potentially open and they sent it home 2-0. Game number 2, a response from the Orange.
And it's beautiful. It's absolutely wonderful to see here. Oh, Dog has started his PC.
Yep, that's not a problem at all.
All right, so I guess I will tell them. Right, we will lead that into the next one. We will send it back to the beautiful, handsome faces of the people bringing you this match with our voices. Indo, how are we feeling so far? The series is tied. We're going number. What is your opinion, sir?
I mean, I expected the bounce back by Syracuse, and they did a great job of retaining themselves. I had called out the fact that some of those bumps were a little bit out of bounds at times. trying to push the issue. You can't always force a demo, and those who chase get punished. It's something that SDSU is very good at.
Are you
A lot
freaking
of the bumps and demos
serious?
that came through were on the back ends of plays. They were in rotation. They were either rotating back or they were following through with the offensive push that they had just started. So that is the type of physicality I want to see. And Syracuse not only made room, they forced more pressure with that physical mindset.
Absolutely agreed. Hang on, we got to sidestep this conversation real quick because there is a wonderfully amazing human who just slid his stream over into mine. I got a big shout out for Pyro J, everybody. Smash that follow button right now. Whole YouTube schmill. You know what I'm saying? All of it. Smash the follow button. Turn your notifications on. Pyro J, what's up, big dog? How'd your stream go this evening? Thanks for bringing everybody over. We're doing a CCS championship stream. I have been blessed with the presence of Kendo Slice on this. So it's been wonderful so far. You guys are popping in at a perfect time. It's a best of 7. Series is tied at 1. We were just letting Kendo continue to tell us how impressed he is with Syracuse.
I mean, you have a 2-0 answer to being beat down 5-1. There's always a bit of impressed mentality that you'd like to observe. So I like the fact that they not only did they do it, they did it with minimal adjustment. It was just correcting the mistakes. They are true to their play style. They're true to their mindset, and they took it to SDSU. So keep it going. It's up to SDSU to make adjustments.
100% agreed here as we drop into this next game. And again, got Dog back on it. He is alive and well. Looks like everyone there is also alive and well. Game 3 to see who takes the lead in the series. Once again, as San Diego did take game number 1. But here's my mentality on best of 7s, Mr. Slice. On the odd games, on 3 and 5, that is where you kind of figure out who your better team really is. That team to take that first edge in the series is the one you've got to be out. I have a feeling, like you said, with that 2-0 answer, Syracuse is going to be looking to take the edge in this series.
I agree. It's a pivot point each and every time. My question, however, lies with what does SDSU have in the tank? And will Syracuse provide any avenues with which for them to punish? They shored up a lot of mistakes. And you and I both know Rocket League is a game where you tend to make mistakes on a regular basis.
Absolutely.
What we saw in game 2 was borderline perfect gameplay out of Syracuse. I don't know how sustainable that is.
And especially against the Aztecs. Again, story kind of young roster, if you will, here on the side of San Diego. And these guys have made waves. They make waves with their offense. They make waves with their aggression. And that kind of went by the wayside in game number 2. So I'm looking to see more of that. I want to see more of, like you said, that aggressive play, the bumps, the demos. Open yourselves that lane in the back line. Get yourselves a goal, and Dog, even on the pump right there, almost finds himself his first goal.
Shout out to Pyro in the chat, making me remember that old Syracuse basketball squad yet again.
Oh no.
We already went into this mentality of, yeah, I'm a Kansas fan. No, I don't want to talk about that national championship back in the day. Carmelo Anthony, no, no, thank you. Want nothing to do with that.
Look. Fellow on the Nuggets is an unforgettable force, okay? I know you don't like it, but let's be honest. Dude made a name for himself. I didn't watch him in college, but I watched him in the NBA. But sorry, we're going to stop walking down memory lane to hurt your feelings there. We're going to get locked in for some Rocket League, baby. We have almost reached halftime. Yet again, the pressure is mounting. The tension is building. When will it
I'd hate to reel it back in, but Melo on Cuse was kind of special. But I'm done. I'm done. Patrick's going to work on carrying this ball out. And yet again, we have a game that's through halftime, 0-0 score line. It's intimidating to me. To be honest, the 5 goals from San Diego State in game number 1 was something that doesn't always happen very often for this team. They tend to be more defensive in their mindset. Right now, they're being met with a Syracuse defense that just won't say, sure, you can have that ball.
Shot down low, and it mixes the defense up off the back wall. Mason putting it, I would say low and slow, but that had some mustard on it right there in that bottom corner. 74? How are you stopping that?
It starts with forward-facing challenges, and I'm going to call out Dog here. Yes, you do need to get press on, touches in, but the moment you take that challenge, you're back towards the net, you're going away towards your own goal during that play. They set themselves up. That was juicy in the slot, the high slot area, and any team is going to send the house. In this case, Syracuse sends the house, and it pays off. Minute 20 still to go. Patrick and company going to start to play that defensive game that we saw late half of game number 2. And they've got a lot of momentum on their side at this point.
They do. They're forcing Dog to shoot on his own net. I'm not sure I would clear across the net that close, especially in a high-pressure situation. But now the Aztecs have found themselves with just 60 seconds to decide whether or not they can continue at a stalemate in the series. Aquino and Dog working in tandem to move up the field. Can they find something here? It's going to be awkward. Dog playing that intimidator, the aggressor, the initiator of the offense, or at least they hoped they could have been before the ball got cleared downfield.
Oh, and this is a chance on by Patrick. We'll be able to jam the 50 to keep it in the box. Quick 1, 2, 3. Dog gets up, loses out on the resource battle. He's not able to finish things off. Seeing the time ticking down. Only 1 or 2 more chances for San Diego State. And Enpleb ushers this in from side to side. Enpleb goes for it. Side flips in the slot. It's still a chance for Dog, but they are going to miss out yet again. Ball is high. Aquino can't find Enpleb in the mid. Patrick, will they see this one land? No. Dog's going to bring it all the way back. Aquino Enpleb. Good communication, not the double commit, but it's 1 touchdown and Syracuse up by 1.
I could have sworn on everything that 0-second drill was not going to go well for Syracuse, but it does. They find themselves only by 1 after 8 shots. 1 finally goes in, and now we've got to call into question, should Syracuse or should San Diego be racking up the shots and stop going for quality? Maybe it's time to start looking at quantity.
I mean, I talked about how their efficacy is so good. At the moment, they're just getting jammed everywhere they go. And I think that's due in part to the fact a lot of the time they're defensive. You're seeing someone pressure the play, but they tend to be in a retreating mindset. That's something that needs to change. 100%. SDSU needs to be hitting those 50-50s, forward-facing, and hey, if they start doing that, they have a chance to turn the beat around. Again, both teams scrapping for each inch.
Hopefully somebody gives an inch and takes a mile or something here for San Diego, because right now, at the swing point, the pivot point in the series, you have given up the lead. To rein this one in. We've seen a few good looks. That should be a good one from Aquino. It is, finds its home. And after the drought of game number 3, SDSU leads us in game 4.
All 3 members of Syracuse find themselves kind of back towards the play, aside for Patrick, who you could argue was a little bit forward-facing, but they're on the backboard. That's always a difficult come up for the shot. Took all 3 committing. Still didn't matter. Big first goal as SDSU get their first in over 10 minutes, Taquito. Let it not be understated, that drought went a while.
I was okay. Look, man, as a San Diego fan here, I don't know much like how you're talking to me, big dog. All right, I don't much like. I understand you're a little hurt by the Syracuse stuff, but there's no need to turn that on me. I understand it was 10 minutes. Okay, I'm trying to live on the positives here because right now they're up by 1. Call it 2 from the man Aquino again.
Absolutely clinical. Dog to Aquino twice in a row, and let that dog bark from the midfield onward. I love the fact that they were able to put that on. I do feel like Syracuse could have put a little better challenge forward, but not this time. 1 minute in, and already the Aztecs look ready to go to war.
I would hope.
Oh, there's another!
Okay. I was going to say I would hope so when Impleb decides to ring up 3. I'm getting flashbacks of game number 1, my friend. This is starting to feel like we're living it with the ghost of Christmas past at this point, and it's only June.
We've also seen them commit fairly aggressively in the offensive zone.
Fair.
If not for the fact that the initial challenge phased it into a tough 50, 50 that was won very well, and I'm not going to take away from the goal by Impleb. If they get the ball back towards the other way, there's nobody for days on the SDSU side, so they are committing quite a bit of resources and quite hard as we see another screamer in by Impleb yet again. At the very least, at this time, Syracuse, I don't even know if they've noted it yet.
I'm sure they've taken note of it. They had to have taken note. What? Oh, where are we going, guys? Get your bearings underneath you, dog. You missed the ball a little bit. We're all right, though. Got it working. Nice high pass across the net. It will be to nobody. Just unfortunately moving the ball around. But again, like I said, they've taken note of it, 3 times. You know, they rung it up 3 times. Syracuse has got to go back to the drawing board because it seems the Aztecs are absolutely in war mode.
Very much so, as Dog's going to see this one down. Middle of the pitch hasn't necessarily been as much of a battlefield as it has in the previous games as we passed the halfway point. Not exactly indicative of the shot count. It's just a lot of the defense is being met in each team's third, and I don't know that that's conducive because you let squeakers go like that.
And so, if we had to sit in the Syracuse camp here for specifically this game, what has been the deterioration on the pitch that you've really kind of taken note of? What have you seen as Syracuse seems to be faltering?
I don't want to call it curdling, but whereas you saw Syracuse very much in the face of San Diego State in the first couple matches, like they were pushing through with speed, they were getting 50-50s in the midfield, they were demoing whenever they could in order to create. There has only been a single demo in this match, and when you consider the fact that they have 3-4 demos each game so far, they have utilized that to create room. They're waiting more towards the defensive end, and I feel like they're doing themselves a gigantic disservice. Yeah, you're up by 1, but it's amazing how quickly both the goal lead and the series lead can go away.
It's insanely amazing. It can snowball, and it just stinks. As somebody who did play a little bit of competitive in a few of those different leagues, you know, shout out IGL, may they rest in peace. I get that. You hit a moment, you hit your stride, and then all of a sudden, you kind of hit that immovable object that just starts pushing through your wall. And I feel that that's kind of what's happening here to Syracuse, unfortunately. They have met that immovable force that their wall cannot defend against momentarily.
And I'm glad you acknowledge it is definitely momentarily. Rocket League, game by game, complexion will change. And for Syracuse, it was a goal towards the end of game number 1. I think that really allowed them to see the light at the end of what was a tough 5-1 loss. Maybe a goal here could see them on the positive end of the spectrum going into a prospective Game 5, which again, you know, it swings a long way. Here's Patrick's shot on Bleb, and Bleb will be able to keep that one out.
It's tough. And we might see another one roll in here. No, we don't. All right. We're going to just move it back to the mid and again go back to the drawing board for the side of Orange. Garbage time right now. Pleb doesn't want to let it go, but Dog calls game and says, no, put the ball down, move it on. We are back to tied. Yet again, Kendo, we have to hit that pivot point. Who is going to tip the scale again?
Well, SDSU finally get a lead in the shot category, and I think that was indicative of just how much press they were able to get on. You consider that 5-1 game, they only had 6 shots on, and they won that shot battle, or they lost that shot battle 6-9. Nice.
Yes, sir.
All things considered, San Diego State have done a much better job of putting themselves in offensive confines. Granted, I feel like it's Syracuse who gave them the room to do so. A lot of those offensive chances, Syracuse back to the basket, and you don't defend that way. Ask Jim Boeheim.
Oh, no, not calling out Wilkie in the chat. Oh, that one hurts. But what doesn't hurt at all is more Rocket League, Kendo, and we've gotten plenty of it here. Again, as it stands, the pendulum has swung to the side of the Aztecs. Can the Orange tip the scales in their favor? I do agree with the things that we have said. They need to beefing up that defense, toughen themselves up as they move through this series. They cannot continue to lose games by blowouts.
Completely agree with you, and forward-facing challenges, I think, will be the big adjustment going in to game number 5. I'd like to see a little bit more. I also see some of the physicality come through. It wasn't necessarily there, and it was a little uncharacteristic, if you ask me, after what we saw in the first few games. Syracuse showed themselves to be extremely borderline violent at times.
Yeah, that's exactly true. They have been borderline violent, but I think they've turned into some pacifists as of last game. We want to, I mean, not to say that we're calling violence into question here and that it's the answer, guys, but I mean, come on. Put a little bump on it. You know, put a little oomph when you're driving down the pitch and you're holding that possession like this right here, baby. Gavillion gets a chance to double it off the crossbar. Missed touch there. I believe it was by Pleb. They ran out of boost. They only had one opportunity. They had to pinch it off the crossbar. Couldn't do it. And now the Orange take themselves the lead once again.
This goes back to what we were talking about, how important it is to make sure that those challenges are forward-facing, especially aerial challenges. We saw the initiation in. They tried to get a pinch, an aerial pinch with 2. So they were overcommitted. All you had to do was 50 them to bring it back. You had one person a little too far forward. What they do, they skied the ball and set it up, and it is credit. You have to take advantage, and Gavillion did exactly that. You take advantage of the positioning. They gave you a turnover right there, close into the high slot, and you send it home.
Oh. Pleb, even though it was a little floater, tried to put a little change-up speed on that, tried to find themselves a goal. Back to the sky again, has to lay off of it for the boost, goes for the mix-up, almost finds it, but it's low boost backfield for San Diego as they try to keep this ball anywhere but their final third.
I also have to compliment Syracuse. They've taken to the sky on a lot of these plays. It's disrupted, I think, the flow of San Diego State until right there. This is brilliant. Take a second look.
I was gonna say we need to be quiet on this one. That's a moment of silence there for Aquino. Awareness at 9,000, even over 9,000 on the recovery out of the goal. It's a touch that no one really expects. And then, of course, the Aztecs come back with a fight because they got that dog in them. 2-1.
They're also benefactors of another sloppy challenge. I keep on playing my fiddle, hoping that these teams, both of them, will correct the mistake. But this is yet another ball placed delicately, gently even the box, and it is pounded home by the offended team. You can't allow players to take control in that midfield area. Check it out. Here's another one.
I was going to say, you were saying?
Yeah.
It's beautiful, isn't it? Being a commentator, being able to bring your voice to the game, your opinions, your analysis even, Kendo. And as you're giving the people the analysis, exactly what you're describing happens before your eyes. Is that truly a curse, or would some call that a blessing?
You know, it's one of my favorite things in all of commentary, when you're able to give an analysis and boom, what you see on the pitch is what has been spoken. For Syracuse, they're benefactors this time around, but I think more than just some of the challenges, they have jammed SDSU in their own defensive zone. They're not giving them a choice.
I don't think there was a choice that could be given in that moment. It was right off kickoff. Both teams are spread kind of all over the place. You have the aggressor moving forward. Wait, Inflev is going to do it to him. Makes two people jump for the block. Forces a double commit. Forces the option out of the defense right there. Patrick and Mason. Mason, unfortunately, no boost. Patrick probably realizing Mason doesn't have it. This went from a game of tit for tat, possession for possession, playing defense against the better team, to an all-out Western-style shootout.
Welcome to the C stream of the CCS playoffs, where defense is made up, and if you have a lead, it doesn't really matter, because both of these teams are throwing themselves onto the scoreboard on the regular. In the San Diego State, do they have another one in them? They at least got that dog in him. Got a shot, but finally, a savior on the net. Only to see Patrick miss.
So do we deflate as commentators, or does the team deflate at morale? What exactly is the next step here? Because at this point, I don't think either you or myself have a single clue how this series is going to go.
What is morale? Back in the day, we used to call it Champ 3 gameplay. This is definitely a Champ 3 gameplay. If you know the meme, you know the meme. You're on the team, folks. And Pleb looking to control this one through. 40 seconds left, and then we get a little bit of a reset going into Game 6. But the mentality has not shifted. It's Patrick looking to bring this on, but immediately pushed forward by Dog. And I caution to think what's going to happen next.
That's what I was going to say. It's what comes next with the way they're attacking that goal line, Kendo. I'm so nervous at this point. The Aztecs are trying to lock down game number 5.
Oh!
Wait, don't tell me. Is it a free double? It's not! Because Dog is there to save the day. That's not a good pass. Taquito lays it down. And in a wild, stunning turn of events, San Diego has put us on match point.
I mean, somebody's got to get Dog a medal for that save at the end, because there was a demo at the end. They had a chance for a 1-2 and an aerial finish. They were not able to execute fully because Dog noticed what was going on, got up extremely early. And yet again, San Diego State are able to pull out the victory. They are definitely taking much better care of the ball into the offensive zone, Taquito, and that is a sign of good fortune. I don't know if they're able to finish this off, but if I can redact my prediction, they definitely go into Game 6 with a lot of momentum and definitely the favorites in this series.
I am so impressed. I'm impressed by both of these squads. We're obviously only in round 2. We haven't made it further and further into the tournament, deeper into this top 8. But I mean, it is absolutely beautiful to see the way these teams have gone answer for answer throughout the series. And I do feel coming into this, obviously San Diego had the edge when it came to statistics. Numbers, they don't. It's some about numbers don't lie, blah, 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 whatever. Statistics out the window. You can only be as good as you are on the day. And both of these squads have proven that they had to show up and show out. And that's exactly what we got here tonight in this first series. Two squads battling out to push forward in the bracket.
And now as I'm watching, I'm asking myself, what does Syracuse have to answer San Diego State? They've 2 games in a row beaten them on the shot count. We haven't seen that same level of aggression. We definitely have not seen that same level of brutality when it comes down to the bumps and demos. I almost feel like they need to go back to it. That is a ball off of the crossbar, down and out. That went everywhere. I felt like I was watching pinball.
You know, the biggest thing that we hate in this game is the magic fourth defender, right? No one likes the post or the crossbar because, of course, Kendo, you can attest, it's blocked all of your amazing shots, right?
I mean, all of my passes in life, and I have quite a few passes that have been brilliant, were just missed shots. And I've learned to accept the crossbar as my friend. You got to utilize the fourth man if he's there.
I would hope that some of us do. I mean, more often than not, we allow it to do a lot of the work for us. So, luckily enough, right now, no goals on the scoreboard. That it has done plenty of work for the team in question. However, that demo starts us off on that offense. Can we see someone plus off of it right now? It's a lot of boomer ball, trade of hands of possession. Implant goes straight to the ground. I'm unsure why they didn't continue to play up high. They did have a good, at least, beat, in my opinion, but the offense nonetheless has yet to die. Syracuse still trying to fight off these Aztecs as they approach.
Be careful. Boomer Ball, I'm pretty sure, is community night over at the Old Farts Discord. You don't want to bring them into this one.
I didn't want to say it was beer night, all right? I didn't want to say it was beer night, okay?
A lot of pass plays, though. Syracuse looking much more attuned to each other. And you take into consideration that we are 0-0 through halftime. This is looking a lot more like the Syracuse that we saw in their games they won.
If you could see my face, the crossbar defended one shot, helped with the defense of a second shot, and then unfortunately, San Diego couldn't get the ball away from the net, and that just came slamming down on top of it to seal the deal. Syracuse taking the lead, might get another here, they do, and Mason Star has just had enough. They've had enough of us kind of hating on their defense a little bit. They turned it up on offense.
But you're also seeing more of those physical plays. Team demos up to 3 in this game, and much more in the face has been the attenuation of the orange. Does Gavilon have another one? Absolutely. Straight on through, gives up the ball to Dog. Dog has no beans, but that hasn't stopped him before.
I don't think Dog is ever going to stop, no matter if he's winning or losing. Let's just get that out of the way right now. As for what it seems, down by 2, you still have 90 seconds left in this game. Plenty of time as long as you can score within the next 30. I think you've got to give yourself that 60-second window to really get some type of opportunity, especially against this Syracuse squad. You can't let the seconds tick down too far.
No, you cannot. Mason Star, Gavilon will get one more for the money. Mason Star didn't even get a proper touch on this. Instead, just ushers this down.
It was the magician's sleight of hand trick. Hey, watch me over here while I score below you. That's what happened. It's Syracuse performing magic on the pitch. Now, this is, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the first time we've really seen a blowout on the side of Orange.
Yeah, we have seen a couple of shutouts, but this would be more characterized, once you get into that 3-goal territory, as more of a blowout. That being said, you stand corrected. Dog's going to scream and says, we're not done yet.
All right, listen, man. Dog, I'm sorry. As Shaq said in a meme one time, I believe I was unfamiliar with your game. Apologize. All right. 1 goal on the board. You've got 2 more to call overtime, 3 to call game. Does Syracuse have it in them to at least keep this lead, this 2-goal cushion they had? Or can San Diego force their way through the way we've seen plenty of times through this series?
I think that Syracuse have what it takes. The problem is they cannot hurdle up for it. We've talked about how they've been very aggressive, and the games that they've lost, especially the last 2, have been passive. You don't want to go back into your shell after you've figured out what's worked.
Absolutely not. You don't, like you said, you don't want to turtle up. You don't want to sit in the net singing Kumbaya, as some people say. And it looks like they haven't done that. The last seconds tick down. And let me welcome you, Kendo Slice, to Champions Field. Game number 7 of the first series of the evening. Who takes it home? Will it be the undefeated Aztecs as their domination map continues to grow? Or is it the Orange to deal these Aztecs their first loss?
Now, you see, now you made me change it to Champions Field. I was planning on keeping it on Manfield the entire rest of the night.
No, absolutely
but, you know,
not. Absolutely. You don't go to Game 7, and you can't avoid this, Kendo. This is where champions are made, or whatever they say in this.
Yes, indeed, it is. No, this is Patrick. Anyway.
Oh, my gosh.
Game number 7. Give it up for Game 7, in the words of an old friend of mine. Love to see the content. I feel vindicated because I kind of predicted it at the beginning. I could guarantee a Game 7, and the fact that we're here on this pitch, knowing that it's SDSU, it makes me feel all the more like I still know the game. And we'll find out if I truly do, as we find out the result between these two. But if Syracuse are going to win, they have to keep the same level of aggression. They have to take it to SDSU, and they have to hope that Dog doesn't come up with saves like that.
You know, you kind of faltered there at the end of your statement. Are you sure you know ball, Kendo?
You know, I don't know. I honestly don't know ball. We'll figure out how much I do know ball at the end of this, depending upon if the prediction is right. But between what we've seen from both teams, I can tell you it is anyone's game, and I at least had that right at the very beginning.
And that's kind of how I feel. I'm still hoping that my boys over in the Aztecs do take the W. You know, who doesn't love being right about one thing? So that way I can maybe brag about being right about that one thing. But the only thing that I can say is Syracuse defense standing up to the task right now. They managed to stave off all of those opportunities from the side of SDSU. And they've continued to answer back with moving clears, strong pushes forward, but unfortunately they continue to get snuffed out over and over again. We reach this halftime, as we have many times in this series. Dog is very awkward. This could be potentially bad, but it's not as the ball goes up.
Oh? No, you're right. It is bad. Endpleb's going to be able to get this delivery. We thought that they might have been able to push this to the side, but Patrick unable to get the touch, and that looked like a read that I would make. Feels bad, man. SDSU get game number 1. Or not game number, goal number 1. Wow. I'm showing my age, brother.
Hey, I was gonna say, hey, it's obviously it's already been a long night. You know what I'm saying? It's about 8 p.m. Eastern. We might need to get the coffee on the pot, get to relaxing, but we can't because there's more goals to be scored. Kendo slice. We have evened up the scoreboard.
How many times have we seen Gavilan in this position, off of the backboard, just unguarded, and then with the screamer right down, chops it in this time around. If I am SDSU, that's the person I'm putting my mark on. I don't want Gavilan to beat me because it seems like every time Syracuse need a goal, that's the one to do it.
It's Gavilan to give them a goal, and then it's Mason Star to get the sneaky goal. And that's what I like about this squad over on Syracuse. Patrick has done absolutely well playing that aggressor in the mid, keeping the possession away from the net, making those star appearances every now and again. And as I say that, Mason Star makes questionable defensive touch. But like we're saying here, it just, this Syracuse squad cannot be underestimated. And sometimes I feel that's the energy we sense from the car language on the side of SDSU when they do manage to score. It's almost like they undersell their opponents.
Oh, mercy. We go back to that thought process. It is anyone's game, but SDSU have committed very hard in this offensive instance to find themselves low boost, and Gavilan has an unguarded backboard going back to it. Mason Star, the shot will get saved by Aquino on the goal line. They're just able to keep it out, but that isn't far enough. Oh. Mason Star, the cleanup after a weak clear.
What did I tell you? Mason will get the sneaky goal. You have to watch out for that player. You have to be on the nose when it comes to your awareness. If Mason is lurking in your goalie box, in your final third, there is no reason you should be waiting for something to happen. But it doesn't matter when you got somebody on your squad like Inpleb to knock home a tying goal.
Oh, and Patrick went as early as possible. Enpleb takes the misdirect and finishes off of the play to the wall. Love that sort of solo mentality when you need it the most. So, we're Deuces Wild. Just under 75 seconds to go, and we thought it was interesting before. Here's your peak content, my friend.
You're not lying about that, but back to your Deuces Wild statement. Don't do that. That's big flashbacks of me trying to play poker one time, and I thought that was a good move. It was not a good move. I should never have done that. Back to the game. Less than a minute. Do we see overtime in Game 7? Does this turn into one of the most hype series that we're going to see in Season 3 championship for CCS? Or does this end as a snuffed-out flame when one of these teams completely shatters the confidence of their opponents?
I'm going to answer you with this. Yes. No, this is Patrick, my friend, and solo plays this through, gets the 50-50, and Aquino can't recover.
I'm not a betting man, but something tells me Syracuse is forward to third. I don't know. I'm not a betting man, but I'm willing to put my cards on it. It is something wild here. Aquino off the side, won't be able to continue to play. Ball going dangerously back towards the net, and it turns into 4, and that right there might be the dagger delivered by none other than who? Gavilan.
Oh my. At the end, they're just putting it towards the net. They're taking them and dispossessing where they are on the pitch and keeping a forward mentality as long as they don't give it up. And they have! And Pleb the shot on! Big save on the goal line from Mason Star! Oh, I thought they had given it away, but instead it's Syracuse. They proved me right, and I can't believe it.
All right, buddy. All right. Get off your high horse, Kendo. Enough. You're crazy. In